ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्भूतभूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सिक्स्थ मंत्र यः पूर्वं तपसो जातम् अद्यः पूर्वमजायत गुहां प्रविश्य तिष्ठन्तम् यो भूतेभिर्व्यपश्यत एतद्वै तत् so यः व्यपश्यत he knows vyapashyata pashyati this mumukshu one who is a but that's how Bhashyakara says yah kashin mumukshu yah means kashin mumukshu some rare mumukshu so he sees what atma he sees atma he knows atma what jatam which is born this atma is born as what Hiranyagarbha. So jatam purvam in the beginning. So here jatam purvam from what it is born? Tapasaha from the tapas from the knowledge of whom? Brahmanaha. So of this Brahman. So you say it is born from Atma, and now you say it is born from Brahman, knowledge of Brahman. Yeah, because Atma is. Anyway, so Yaha Ajayat, and this Hiranyagarbha was born Purvam Adbhyaha, before waters, means before elements, right? Before elements. Therefore, even before elemental world. Before the physical body, elemental, before the subtle body, elemental, and before that, even elements, before that also, before this Karya Karana Sanghata, that's how Bhashyakara said. Before Karya and Karana. Karya, physical body, Karana, the subtle body. All is Karana, right? All organs, sense organs, and other things. So, yaha ajayata purvam adbhyaha. Yaha purvam ajayata. First way it means it is born first. That's the first purvam. Second purvam will be before even the elements and elemental world. This Hiranyagarbha, who is born from Brahmanaha tapas, from the knowledge of Brahman, all-knowing Brahman. Brahman is Brahman. Brahman, but as though he is invoked his knowledge, which is right there, right? Non-separate from him, which is called Maya. Mm. And through that, he saw the previous creation, then karmas and all that. And he first born as a Hiranyagarbha, all-knowing Ishvara now. He's called, here as a Hiranyagarbha is called. That's how Hiranyam Garbhe Yasya. one in whose womb there is all Hiranyam, gold, gold, and gold. So he is first born as one who has all gold within. Gold stands for shine, effulgence. That stands for knowledge, right? Ajnanam stands for darkness. Jnanam stands for light, effulgence. So he is Sarvagnya. Hiranyagarbha is Sarvagnya. And whose knowledge alone manifests in the form sense organs, buddhi, and then organs of action. How can you say that, Swami? Every sense organ functioning, my God, intelligent functioning. Eyes. I'm not talking about Golaka, that's physical world, that's a Virat. Please understand me. Huh? I'm not talking about this Golaka. The one which is functioning in that Golaka, that is the sense organ, Indriya. That is all law, right? That's a law. What you study in ophthalmology, etc., is not this gross. That is also a part of study, but that is different. What they study is basically that eye, the sense organ, right? This is just gross part where Indriyas is able to function, remaining there. So that is manifestation of Hiranyagarbha, because this is a manifestation of knowledge. So same Ishvara, Hiranyagarbha from standpoint of eyes, we call Adhishtan Devata, right? Adhishtan Devata of the eyes, Aditya. Then from standpoint of Vak and so Agni. So therefore all Adhishtan Devatas is none other than Ishvara from the given sense organ standpoint. And that is not in individual, it is there everywhere. These eyes, these eyes, these eyes. Therefore, Devata Samashti. Adhishtan Devata Samashti. Just sense organ and its function. Function and functionary. Sense organ is functionary. And its function. That is Adhyatmam. But that's when you look at into the function, you find the order. My God. Whoever is born only sees with the eyes, not only human being and others also. So that is basically that order, that intelligent functioning, intelligent order, law is samashti, which is a devata. So therefore, that samashti, that is called Aditya Devata. So we say with the help of that Aditya Anugrahena, well, that's how Chakshushopanishad. There is a Chakshushopanishad. It's very, 4 or 5 mantras are there. Only 4 or 5 mantras. One who has difficulty in seeing now, deteriorating, they do that. Puja Swamiji told some very big official in Delhi, was working in the government of India. And he started losing his sensory power. And it was told by Puja Swamiji to him, because Swamiji knows many people, and told him to do. Somebody, taught him how to chant and all that. And there is a little bit upachara also is there, taking water and offering argyam to the sun and everything in the morning, and then do this. And he did it. Even though doctor said you will lose your eyes quickly, but he survived so many years. But that the deterioration of the sensory power stopped. Stopped. And there are many instances, many, many instances. So I used to teach in India, in Ahmedabad, Upanishad in the class to everyone. Yeah, because it would be useful, if you chant and do this. Eyes are most important. In perception, the most important is eye. Even Upanishad talks about that. That's how they always say the Vishwa is sitting where? The Waker is sitting where? Waker is sitting in all sense organs. Waker is sitting in this body. No, Waker is sitting here. Mandukya Upanishad says. Because it is most important. in perception, perceiver of the world, waking world. Who is important? What is important is this. That's what Vishwa is sitting there. Anyway, so then Yaha Ajayata was born, Purvam Adhyaha, before the waters, before the elements. And then what? Once they are created from Hiranyagarbha, right? Entire subtle world has come. Entire subtle world. That subtle world is present here. Subtle world is created from Hiranyagarbha. So Sukshma Prapancha Abhimani Chaitanya Hiranyagarbha now. All knowledge from the all knowledge of Brahman, Hiranyagarbha is created. So Hiranyagarbha with all knowledge now will create entire subtle prapancha. So that subtle prapancha is non-separate from Hiranyagarbha. That Hiranyagarbha is obtained in this body as the subtle body. And therefore, this sense organ which is present here, eyes, sense organ, not that gross part, is what? Hiranyagarbha. And through that, one who sees also is Hiranyagarbha. How? How? He says, well, after, before creation of elements and elemental, Hiranyagarbha was born, and then elements, etc., came from that. And then he created all entire subtle body, but he did not enter. He was taking rest after creation of this because he was tired. Then he found this. What will be the use of this sense organs and sense object? The mind and the buddhi and all that prana. If I am not present, they are inert, right? Inert thing does not have a purpose of its own. So this doesn't have a purpose of its own. It serves a purpose for a conscious being. That's how a farmhouse which everything is there, beautiful garden, fruit trees and flower trees and everything. And then there is a villa, huge bungalow, and in that all furniture and air conditioners and carpets and the dining hall and dining rooms and all beautiful crockeries and everything and beautiful bed and everything, and then in kitchen also all the dibbas are full with all sevai and everything, all stuff, refrigerator and all. Who stays here? Who is that fortunate guy? Nobody stays. Nobody stays here. Then what it is meant for? Right? A dibba of that save of that what chak of that what is that chakri? Huh? Something. It doesn't serve purpose of its own. It serves a purpose of a conscious being. So he thought, I have created everything from my knowledge. It's all manifestation of my knowledge, not my knowledge and some material. Ishvara alone is the material and in the form of Hiranyagarbha. Well, all knowledge from that only the whole subtle prapancha came, and definitely gross also later. But then what will be the purpose of the creation if I don't enter? So he entered. That's what he said. Purvah tapasah jatam, then guham pravishya tishthantam. He dived into the swimming pool of the subtle body, every subtle body. Make it conscious, right? Every subtle body entered into the guham, buddhim, entered into the intellect. As he entered, aham. Very first thing is whole conscious mind, which is called aham. The object of the I thought is the entire mind, because it has to claim a whole mind as myself. And then when it is conscious mind, then ready to objectify outside through the senses. Senses also become conscious. Organs of action become conscious. Prana become conscious. And whole subtle body is now sentient, functioning. Functioning started. Ultimately for that aham. But that aham is none other than what? Hiranyagarbha. Therefore, when you say aham, if you are not ignorant, you will say, I am Ishvara. If you are ignorant, I will say, I am I am so and so perceiver. Really, when you are seeing, you say, the Hiranyagarbha is seeing. I, the Hiranyagarbha, is seeing. Then I, the Hiranyagarbha, is seeing. Then you will not say, I, the Hiranyagarbha, is seeing here. No, 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 no. Hiranyagarbha is seeing here, here, here. Could you follow what I'm saying? You follow or not? You identify with these eyes, then you say, I am a seer here. But really speaking, who is a seer? Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is seeing through this eyes only or through all the eyes? Oh my God. That consciousness, Brahman, Hiranyagarbha, all knowing Hiranyagarbha, creating everything, now manifest as a Ahankara, as a Taijasa in all. Taijasa do not mean a dreamer, huh? Taijasa means one who identifies with a subtle. That's called Taijasa. Individual subtle body, etc. Yeah. Need not be dreamer. That's a wrong translation. Of course, in a dreamer is a subtle level. I mean, identified with just mind, that's a different thing. But here, identified with the gross is a Vaishva, gross body. That is a, just saying, well, identifying with this, you say that Hiranyagarbha, due to ignorance, may say, I am this body. Could you follow? If the ignorance is not there, you say, I am Hiranyagarbha, Ishvara. Hiranyagarbha is none other than Brahman. You say, I am Brahman. Could you follow now? That's the thing. That means, anyway, we'll come to that. That means Ahankara will remain. You will not claim yourself as the Ahankara. You will claim what? Hiranyagarbha as Aham. That's a thing. That's called knowledge. We think of that I thought itself should destroy. Ahankara is the issue. Ahankara is obstacle. Ahankara is not obstacle. Ajnanam and born of that identification as Ahankara Jiva is the issue. That consciousness, Hiranyagarbha dived. Buddhi Guham, Buddhim, every Buddhi. Buddhis are many, right? Buddhis are many. Many swimming pools. Diving and dive simultaneously. Wow. Naturally, whatever are created, this is a way of representing, right? As the is ultimately Hiranyagarbha is all pervading Ishvara. And therefore, as the buddhi manifests from his knowledge, every buddhi is what? Tuk tuk tuk. Means Ahankara is ready now. The senses are ready. Tuk, become seer, hear, tear, etc. When you give an identification with a given ahankara, given mind, then you become a seer of all. You become hearer of all. You become talker of all. Anywhere, any functioning is me alone. Who functions through that? I am functioning. No, no, I am here. Identification. You are Sarvatma. You are Sarvatma. Somebody see, I am a seer. I am Atma, who is a seer, hearer. Hey, you are Atma, who is Sarvatma, who is a seer of all, hearer of all. That hearer is also I, and this hearer also is I, and this hearer also is I. That's a Sarvatma. This gives moksha because you don't see other self other than that I. That is same I, same I, same I, same I. That gives you freedom from samsara. So Guham Tishthantam, who resides here, Guham Pravishya Tishthantam, who resides in the heart as the very eye, Bhute Bihi, Saha, with the body and sense organs now. With identification with the body and sense organs, right? So that's how it is. We give another name, Taijasa. Samaji, we should call Hiranyagarbha only. That's correct. But now, along with the body, means identifying with the body and senses. Because where it entered, it's a guha. Guha is a dark. Nothing is seen there. Pitch dark. The darkness in any cave is anadi. Anadi. It's not that there was a light in the darkness, light in the cave, and then darkness entered, pushing out the light. Oh, as the cave was created, there is darkness. That darkness remain. And one day you traveling, walking on the trail, hiking, biking on the trail, you come across and you put a torch inside. That time darkness goes. Till a jnana vritti, a torch, light of the torch arises, till then darkness remain. In every janma, you will say, I am seer, identifying with this mind, this body, these senses. I am individual, I'm individual, I'm individual, I'm individual. Really speaking, that I is a I of Hiranyagarbha. Could you follow or not? Therefore, Ahankara is a manifestation of Ishvara. I said, Swamiji, Ajnanam goes, Ahankara should be destroyed. A identification with the Ahankara goes away. You will say, I am the self of all this. I'm self of all the jivas, all ahankaras. Ahankara will not go, and therefore there is the ahankara of the jnani also doesn't go. He understands ahankara as mithya. Means identification with this body, this mind, etc. only go. You continue to say, but then there is not a truth of it. Okay. So could you follow now? This is sarvatmatvam. This is sarvatmatvam. And Bhashakara said, Yah kashin mumukshuhu purvam prathamam tapasah jnanadi lakshanat iti etad jatam. And then lastly, etad vaitat. This is what Nachiketa you asked about. So you asked about that Atma you were asking me. This is that Atma which is Hiranyagarbha or which is Brahman. Right? We can say that. यः कश्चिन् मुमुक्षुः पूर्वं प्रथमं तपसः ज्ञानादिलक्षणात् ब्रह्मणः इति एतत् जातम् उत्पन्नं हिरण्यगर्भम् किम् अपेक्ष्य पूर्वं भाष्यकार says अद्भ्यः पूर्वम् अप्सहितेभ्यः पञ्चभूतेभ्यः पूर्वं न केवल अद्भ्यः न केवलाभ्यः अद्भ्यः इति अभिप्रायः दिस इज द इंटेंशन ऑफ द श्रुति सो अजायत यह पूर्वम अजायत यह which is born before the before the elements and elementals. Utpannaha, Ajayata means Utpannaha. Yaha, Tam, that Hiranyagarbha, Prathamajam, which is born first. From what? Born from what? Brahmanaha, Tapasaha, right? From the knowledge of Brahman, non-separate from Brahman. And Yaha, Tam Prathamajam, then what it did? Well, Devadi Sharirani Utpadya. So he created now from his knowledge Devadi Sharirani. So it has been from Hiranyagarbha naturally from subtle elements, gross also element, because subtle cannot function without the gross, and therefore we should consider that. Even though we are talking about Hiranyagarbha, what is here in the form of Ahankara, who is a seer, etc. So Hiranyagarbha, but you can take it. So Devadi Sharirani Utpadya, Sarva Prani Gruham, Hridayakasham, Pravishya, enter, Tishtantam, remains there, obtains there. And what it does, Shabdadin Upalabhamanam. Upalabhamanam means he's experiencing, experiencer. He's the very experiencer of Shabdadin, Shabdasparsha Ruprasakandam. Bhutaihi. Bhutebihi means bhutaihi. Bhutebihi is a chandas prayoga. Bhutaihi actually. Because there is no, in our regular Sanskrit, bhute bihi is not a word, right? Ramaihi, not rame bihi. Third case. So anyway, so bhutaihi means what? Bhashakara says karya karana lakshanaihi saha tishtantam. He remains here, identifying with, now he is obtained. You recognize him, this Hiranyagarbha, as what? As a Taijasa here, right? कार्यकरण लक्षणी सह तिष्ठन्तम यह व्यपश्यत हाँ यह मुमुक्षु व्यपश्यत ओ तेजसा ऑब्टेन देयर right? Tejasa obtained there. Right now, Tejasa is there. You are a seer right now, hearer. Yes, yes. You are thinker right now. Yes, yes, yes. You are analyzing it right now. Yes. And as I say, I'm saying, are you trying to recollect something also? Yes, 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 yes. Oh, that is I only. He, that I is different. That seer is different. This seer is different. In fact, I am talker. He is a listener. How can you say like that? Hiranyagarbha alone manifests all sense organs and buddhi guham pravishya tishtantam. He remains in everyone's heart as the very ahankara, identifying with the sense organs, etc. Therefore, that I is same I. If you identify with this mind senses, you say I am a talker. You say I am a listener. If you understand yourself as a Hiranyagarbha, you identify with everything because it's your manifestation. It's your manifestation. Sense organs are your manifestation. And the functionary also behind that, obtaining there also, who functions? I alone is functioning. That is Hiranyagarbha. One who sees like that, yaha pashyati iti etat, यह एवं पश्यति यह वह पश्यति यह पश्यति all this about यह एवं पश्यति one who sees like that means about Hiranyagarbha one who sees like that the seeker will be able to know that Hiranyagarbha alone I am the Hiranyagarbha or I am Brahman ultimately it's Brahman so यह पश्यति एवं पश्यति सह एतदेव पश्यति एतत् प्रकृतं ब्रह्म एव पश्यति one who sees like that sees ultimately that I, the seer, hearer, etc., is really speaking Brahman alone. Right? First you say Hiranyagarbha, then it is none other than what? Brahman. Therefore, here the Atma I is really not Ahankara. Let the Ahankara be there, but that Ahankara is manifestation of Hiranyagarbha, manifestation of Brahman. Therefore, I am Brahman who, who obtains in everyone's heart as Ahankara, as Taijasa, as a seer, hearer, etc. And therefore, ultimately, I am the self of all. I am the Atma who is self of all. Right? So this is how. So this transcendental reality, of course, means I'm just consciousness is easier to understand. Oh, I am conscious of mind, conscious of senses, and therefore I am distinct from that. I am distinct from that. That is object. I am basically the knower of that. I am druk, 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 druk. This is all drishyam, 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 drishyam. But basically, there are, what about fine? That's finally reality. You are conscious of that, and therefore it exists in your consciousness and everything fine. It doesn't exist outside your consciousness. Fine, 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 fine. But what about those things of which you have objectified? What is the reality of that? We should not bother about that. I am conscious of that, therefore I am not that. They exist in me, therefore they are mithya. But you experience day in and day out, and that experience is different as a seer, hearer, etc. How will you negate it like that? Some reality, whatever is there, account for it. Ah, account for it properly. Don't simply negate manobuddhi hankar chittaninam. न च श्रोत्रजिह्वे न च घ्राणनेत्रे चिदानंद शिवोहम शिवोहम I am Chidananda, I am Chidananda. All this is mithya, 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 mithya. They are all like this. The the skin of the what? Kela, banana. Just remove it, throw it out. Just throw it out. One banana, take banana, remove this skin. Manaha. No, I'm not mine. I'm not keep removing that. You are the Chidananda, that is inside, whatever is there, that is you. What is this? The skin has a equal reality of same reality of that what is inside, that garbha, right? That content. Same reality. In fact, that has a more reality. You don't know it. Yeah. Puja Swami used to always say it has more reality. You throw it here and you eat and then you walk and you will sleep, and so the kela which is inside will come out. And therefore, that skin is more real than even what is inside. Therefore, account properly. And that account is whatever is there is you. That's called wholeness. Whatever is there is wholeness. How will we do? Karanam Brahma. First manifestation, first effect, Hiranyagarbha. Knowledge, manifest in the form of sense organs, entire subtle prapancha, and then enters into that, right? Becomes an individual conscious being, then seer, hearer, etc. Oh, same Brahman. I was thinking Atma is basically just consciousness. Yeah, but that consciousness is the Karanam for everything. It's limitless. That is called Brahman is a Karanam for everything. And therefore, you are not just consciousness. You are the cause of everything. You are basically is obtained in as every jiva. Hmm. Anyway, so this is ultimately, well, Puja Swami used to say, this is reality that, well, nothing is separate from you. You are the self of everything, will give you the sense of wholeness, right? Sense of wholeness. Nothing is separate from you. No dvaitam, non-duality. You alone is. There is no second thing at all. Brahman is Sarvatma. Okay, now let's go to mantra number 7. And let's first read it. Kincha ya pranena sambhavati aditir devata गुहां प्रविश्य तिष्ठन्तीं या भूतेभिर्व्यवजायत एतद्वै तत्. You know, this mantra also is talking about same Hiranyagarbha, but now with a feminine. Why Hiranyagarbha is called Aditi here? Bhashakara will explain Adanath. Shabdadin Adanath, that Hiranyagarbha eats everything, experiences everything, Shabdadin. So Shabdadin Adanat Aditihi. Same Hiranyagarbha. And we don't have a problem with the linga, right? We don't have, basically it is free from linga. So far as physical body is there, there is a linga. You just dive into no linga at all. Subtle body has no linga. No linga at all. Subtle body. Only gross body linga. And then Karana Shirya definitely not. Subtle body also not. So that jiva is not he jiva and she jiva. Okay? Yeah. You enter, you take birth in a given gross body which has a linga. And therefore gender issue is not there. That's how we have all the three. We have an Atma also, and we have a Chaitanyam also, and we have Chiti also. Chitis Tatpada Lakshartha, Chidekara Sarupini. Lalita Sahasranama. Chiti Tatpada Lakshartha. Tatpada Lakshartha is that Chiti. That means Ishvara. Lakshartha. Lakshartha of Ishvara is basically when you this when I mean is the truth is Chitihi, Chaitanyam, Atma, same ling, all lingas. Chaitanyam neuter, Chitihi feminine, Atma pulling, masculine word. It is one and the same consciousness. No linga. Anyway, so this mantra talks about Hiranyagarbha. And therefore Bhashyakara starts his bhashyam with the word kincha, moreover. Means whatever we have talked about in the last mantra, well, now we'll be also talking about the same. So, you know, this 6, 7, 8 all talk about Hiranyagarbha. And the ninth we'll be talking about Virat also. So it's the same thing, but just manifestation. So that's how you will see, since it is talking about the same, you find the second half of this mantra is the very similar to the previous mantra. You can see that. Guham pravishya tishthantim ya bhute bihi bhutaihi saha vyajayat etad vaitat etc. So while in the first half of the mantra, more description of the Hiranyagarbha is given. The first description is that the Hiranyagarbha is born in the form of a total prana prakriti. Pranena means the entire subtle prapancha with the standpoint of a prana now. So you will see here, ya pranena sambhavati. Pranena means itham bhute, prana rupena, sutratma. Could you follow? Hiranyagarbha means entire subtle prapancha, identifying with the entire subtle prapancha. But now from the subtle prapancha, one part, prana, samashti prana. Then same Hiranyagarbha called as a sutratma. Therefore, that is a little more description compared to the last mantra, pranena, prana rupena. Because there, before that, you will find that basically like more of a sense organs, etc. were talked about. Shabdadin upalabhamanam bhashakara says. So what about prana? It is not a part of the subtle prapancha, sukshma prapancha. No, no, it is. So that's how this mantra takes up that. So this prana shakti basically is even said here. So Hiranyagarbha is a total subtle body which includes even total prana. And as prana is the most important part of subtle body, instead of saying Hiranyagarbha is total subtle body, it is said here he is total prana. Because prana is the most important. Prana alone, with the help of prana only, this subtle body, which is of course conscious, right? Subtle body is conscious. So conscious subtle body, which is called ahankara, enters into this body. Prana. With the prana only it leaves this body and etc. Prana alone supplies the energy to all sense organs. I told you also. That's how even sense organs etc. are called gauna prana. Mukhya prana is the prana. Prana. But even this day, the eyes and etc., they acquire power through the prana. Therefore, here now that which is most important aspect has been brought out of the Hiranyagarbha. And then next description of the Hiranyagarbha is Devatamayi. So this total subtle body includes all the Indriyas. That means Hiranyagarbha is the eyes, ears, etc. in their totality, and which are called the Devatas, Adhishthan Devata, from the Samashti standpoint. From Vyashti standpoint, Indriya. From Samashti standpoint, Adhishthan Devata, without which it cannot function. If Indriya is functioning, means what? Adhishthan Devata is present. Right? That Adhishthan Devata is common between this functioning of these eyes and functioning of these eyes, functioning of his eyes, functioning of her eyes, functioning of the eyes of the lion. And therefore, when you brought Adhisthana Devata, right, then it becomes Samashti. That's how Devata. Ah. So Adityas, with the Adityas Anugraha, same Ishvara, Hiranyagarbha. Now you talk about from the standpoint of eyes. Then you have to talk about Adhishthan Devata, which is, so just the Ishvara which is total, Hiranyagarbha which is total, look, is looked upon from the standpoint of the functioning of the eyes. Then we brought the Adhisthana Devatas, which is a Samashti. So Hiranyagarbha is total, right? So the Aditya Devata plus this Devata, that Devata, etc., etc. Even our hands, Karmendriya, etc. also function due to, so basically Indra, etc. is a Devata for that, and like that. So eyes in totality we call Aditya Devata, ears in totality we call Dig Devata, nose, Indriya, please understand what this. Indriya I am talking. When you say nose means that Nasikendriya. When I say ears means that not Golaka, but that functioning. Yeah. The Indriya means that's the functioning of that. That is then Adhishthan Devata will be there. So as a Hiranyagarbha, well, which consists of many Devatas. So this aggregate. Hiranyagarbha is aggregate because entire subtle prapancha. Not just sense organs, organs of action. Buddhi also has all Devata. Anyway, so Hiranyagarbha includes all Devatas. He is called Devata Mayi. Aditi, which is Hiranyagarbha, is called Devata Mayi, which is a group of Devatas put together. And another description of Hiranyagarbha here is Aditihi. So three things. Pranena, so in the form of pranas, definitely, because being part of the entire subtle prapancha. And subtle prapancha means which is non-separate from what? Consciousness. So consciousness which obtains in the subtle prapancha is Hiranyagarbha. That Hiranyagarbha is born from Brahman. And from Brahman cannot be born anything. No, no, the knowledge which is mithya, which is non-separate from Brahman, Maya, is right there, Anadi. And from that knowledge, well, Hiranyagarbha is born. So Hiranyagarbha is having all knowledge. From there, entire subtle prapancha, which is manifestation of his knowledge, came. And in that pranas, these, that, sense organs. So when you say sense organ, you talk about a Veshti. But when you talk about the Devata, which is functioning through the sense organ, well, it becomes a Samashti, Devata. Samashti means a Devata. That and this Devata all put together is a Hiranyagarbha again, because that is manifestation of his knowledge. Could you follow? So this is how. Please understand. This will give you clarity about that I am self of everything. No, there is no other I. Really speaking, there is no I. If you say I means seer who is present here, then you are different. You seer is different. I seer is different. Then you have added a mithya upadhi into that. You are identified with the upadhi. Really speaking, all the upadhis are also Hiranyagarbha, all the bodies, etc., subtle body also Hiranyagarbha, and the one who functions through that as a conscious being, as a Ahankara, as a Taijasa, etc., is also the same Hiranyagarbha. That's how it says Guham Pravishya. Along with this Karyakarana Sangata, identifying with it, one who function as Ahankara is none other than this Hiranyagarbha, Ishvara. Therefore, I am Ishvara, Hiranyagarbha, or I am Brahman ultimately, is knowledge. I am just here, located here. And so I here, remaining here is is uh, is ignorance. Dense ignorance. Dense. Like a dense darkness in that cave. And the last description here of Hiranyagarbha is Aditi, which is also not there in the previous mantra. So Hiranyagarbha being total Sukshma Sharira, identified with the total Sukshma Sharira, or consciousness obtaining in total Sukshma Sharira, the Brahman obtaining in all Sukshma Sharira is present behind or located in all individual Sthula Sharira as Taijasa. So Hiranyagarbha alone in the form of a Taijasa, which is identified with the individual mind and sense organs and experiences, everything in the form of Bhokta. So really, the Bhokta is what we talked about. So that Bhokta, it is again coming. That Bhokta is really speaking the same Atma. Remaining Abhokta, he appears as a Bhokta through this mind, etc. Remaining Abhokta, he appears as a remaining just as a non-poisonous rope, he appears as a poisonous snake. Remaining as an insentient rope, appears as a sentient snake. So, I mean, how abhokta can be bhokta? How a non-poisonous can be poisonous? So, I mean, if abhokta turns into abhokta becomes bhokta, a abhokta, remaining abhokta can appear as a bhokta, appearance. It's not a parinama. It's not like the milk curd turns into curd. Milk is no more available. If abhokta becomes bhokta, then there is no point of now knowing Atma as abhokta because it has already gone. It just appears as bhokta through various antakarana, which is also his creation, his manifestation. It's all show. Leela matram tu kaivalyam. If you see like that, you find everything is just a look at that. Same Ishvara appears through both ahankaras and do this. Oh, I am different, Swami is different, he is talker, I am listener. And we think it is true. How can I say he, the talker and listener, is one alone? How can you say like that, Swami? You cannot talk. He is the same Hiranyagarbha, plays a role of talker and listener. This is how Vyavara. This is called Vyavaric reality. This is called empirical reality. It's an experience, but it is not real. Not real. Remaining akarta appears as karta. In fact, akarta atma, which is in suppose atma is really akarta, by swarupa it is akarta, cannot become karta. Cannot become karta. One cannot change one's swarupa. Like the like the fire, whatever it does, in spite of all the efforts on the part of the fire, it can never become cold. It just wants to become right from hot to cold. It cannot become. Same way, akarta wants to become now karta, opposite. Cannot. Then how you are saying akarta becomes atma? Akarta becomes means appears non-poisonous rope, becomes insentient rope, becomes sentient. That is appearance. So this is all through Maya. They're through Ajnanam. Swamiji, rope cannot appear as a snake. Through Ajnanam. Here through Maya. Through Maya, through his all knowledge, he can manifest as all names and forms. Right? Like you manifest as all names and forms, insentient, sentient, in dream, and you only, as a sentient being, does a vyavara with insentient things, etc. in the dream. You do that whole show. You put up that show. Bahusyam prajaye, let me become many. Yes, yes, yes. Let me become many. Really speaking, you appear as many. Yeah. Therefore, duality, so remaining non-dual Atma, right, can appear as a dual world. Sentient, insentient, this, that, etc. Everything. Sarvatma, you are Sarvat. So anyway, so becomes Bhokta here. And so identifying with the individual mind. That's how Bhute Bihi Saha. Saha means here identifying with all the bhutas, Karyakarana Sangata, and now appears as a Taijasa, becomes Bhokta. What is it? What is he doing? Bhoga of what? Bhoga of the Shabdadin, Shabda Sparsha Rupa Sagandha. And then why that is why it is same Hiranyagarbha is called Aditihi, Shabdadin Adanat. Since it is eating every day, all the Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasagandha eating. Yeah. We feel eating means this with the mouth. No, no, no. They say through your eyes you are eating. Shab, I mean forms. Through a ear you are eating sound, experiences. Okay, so and that Hiranyagarbha who is available as a Bhokta here, oh, is what? Brahman. So I, the Brahman, even I am a Bhokta, can appear as a Bhokta in all. Therefore, I am the self of all. I am the, as a Bhokta, I am present in all. Right? Whenever anyone is experiencing anything, you can say, I am actually experiencing through that mind. Amazing. It's just amazing. Swami, it is too much. But let it be too much. I have a lot of time yet to talk about. Adanat, it is coming in Bhashyam. I'm just explaining you without that. Just creating an introduction for that. So now you look at the mantra. Ya pranena sambhavati aditihi devatamai aditihi. Well, this person Our mumukshu, we have to continue. This is otherwise there is no purpose. Therefore, yaha pashyati, we have to continue. Yaha pashyati, one who knows this Atma as what? Goddess Aditi. Aditi. And what? Who is that goddess? Devata Mahi, who is the embodiment of all the deities, who is aggregate of all the deities. Present where? Present here, present there, present there, present here, present there, present there, present here, right? In the buddhi, in the mind, in I'm putting here and here like that. Memory here, present in the pranas, pranapana, vyana, udana, samana. Oh, here, 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 here. My God. Devatamai. His aggregate, his embodiment of all deities. His own manifestation in form of Adhishtan Devatas. When you put together all Devatas, then you find he's a Hiranyagarbha. So Hiranyagarbha is basically is the embodiment of all deities, which is Aditihi, right? Because it eats this. Ya Sambhavati, who is born, Aditi is born, Hiranyagarbha is born, Pranena, as a prana, Samashti prana, as a Sutratma, in the form of a Hiranyagarbha, I mean, again, in the form of Sutratma, in the form of Hiranyagarbha. Ya Vyajayata, and who is born, Bhutebihi, Bhutaihi, along with the elements. From him alone, from Hiranyagarbha, which is Aditi, from she alone, now she alone, it all the things have come. Okay, okay, everything has come, but all are inert elements. Therefore, what is elemental also is inert. What to do with this? I have to enter Pravishya. Pravishya means having entered where? Guham. In the very dark place he had entered. Tishthantim, who resides there. Oh dear, Nachiketa, etadvai tata. This Atma is this Hiranyagarbha, Brahman actually, who is obtained in the self of all, who is the content of everything, who is manifesting as everything, and and as a conscious being who is behind that manifestation of the pranas and the sons, organs, and everything. Remaining conscious, they listen. That consciousness is ultimately Hiranyagarbha, conscious being that is Hiranyagarbha. I'm saying conscious being, then it is better for you to understand. Conscious being, you say, or consciousness, same thing. No, Swamiji, how can you say conscious being is consciousness? A consciousness is the only being. Therefore, I say conscious being. There is no being in anything. Consciousness alone is the being. What is the being, Swamiji? Consciousness is, is, is. Everything has no being. Everything has being on account of this. There is no beingness in anything. There is no isness. Anything is belongs to this. Okay? Yeah, let's read now Bhashya. Yeah, Sarvadevata Mahi, Sarvadevatatmika, Pranena, Hiranyagarbharupena, Parasmad Brahmanaha, Sambhavati, Shabdadinam, Adanat, Aditihi, Tam, Purvavat, Guham Pravishya, Tishtantim, Aditim. So, Ya Sarva Devata Mai, Ya Aditihi, Sarva, Hiranyagarbha. But Aditi, it has been said here, he who, this Hiranyagarbha, which is Aditi, who consists of what? Who consists of all Adhishtan Devata. All Adhishtan Devata is the body of the Hiranyagarbha. Could you follow? He is present as all Devatas. Don't look upon body means this. Means that is the Upadhi. Brahman with the all knowledge is Hiranyagarbha. Now that Hiranyagarbha in which all knowledge is there, that manifests as what? Sense organs. Right? right? And then sense organ function means intelligent functioning. Then this same Hiranyagarbha, which is right there, because now knowledge is non-separate from what? Hiranyagarbha, right? Hiranyagarbha is what? Consciousness. And therefore, consciousness with the knowledge basically manifest anything like any name and form manifest in your mind is endowed with what? Consciousness. How can you say Swamiji endowed with consciousness? That name form is there. It has lighted up in your head by what? Consciousness. So consciousness can never be away because knowledge is never away. That knowledge alone manifests, right? Therefore, that is basically knowledge can never be away from consciousness. Otherwise, it's not knowledge. Any name form along with the consciousness alone is called knowledge. That's called knowledge. That's how somebody asked me this question: what is consciousness? Look at that. What is consciousness? You talk consciousness, consciousness. What is consciousness? I say when you see a flower, there is what? Oh, there is flower knowledge. When you see a flower, there is flower knowledge. That's flower consciousness. No. Flower knowledge and flower consciousness is different. Okay. When you say I see a flower, right? Right? Flower knowledge is where? Here. Okay. That has arisen due to what? Oh, because I see a flower. Okay. Instead of see, can I put another word if with your permission, sir? What? I am conscious of flower. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Not wrong. Means what? I am conscious of flower. That flower is in my consciousness. Miss, there is flower consciousness. The consciousness, along with certain particularity, consciousness, along with so called attribute, is called knowledge, cognition. That's it. Free from attribute, consciousness. Along with attribute, cognition, knowledge. You say there is flower cognition, flower knowledge, flower consciousness. That's what we did in meditation. You see a form, right? That's a thought form. There is a thought form. That thought form is what? Flower. So there is nothing called thought and then flower. That mind alone assumes a form of a flower. That's a thought. That is lighted. Whole flower, all petal, everything. Shine, shine, shine. In what? Consciousness. So flower consciousness means flower plus consciousness. Could you follow what I'm saying? Flower is non-separate. The thought is non-separate from consciousness. That's how I used to even, with a joke, I used to say the whole flower in your mind, the mental flower, is totally deep in what? Consciousness. Could you follow now? Whole. I used to give example of a tree in our meditation. Every leaf shines in your head. Every leaf, every branch, whole trunk, whole thing. You cannot say like that, oh, there is a thought somewhere and I am focusing. I'm a consciousness focusing like that. Flower consciousness, flower is non-separate from you, the consciousness. Could you follow? When you say I am conscious of the flower, flower is in my consciousness, means flower plus consciousness is not there. Flower is not beyond consciousness. It's not besides consciousness. Flower is not away from consciousness. Could you follow what I'm saying? Yeah. You don't see flower in the head, then there is some space. And then you see the boundary of a consciousness. Never happens. You are all pervading consciousness. A thought arises in you along with the consciousness. There cannot be a thought without consciousness. Try. You cannot say there is a thought. When you say there is a thought, it's lighted up by what? Consciousness. It arises in consciousness. You are that all pervading consciousness in which a thought arises. That's called knowledge. Flower consciousness, flower knowledge, cognition, which is, we can say, consciousness along with attributes. Name and form. Right? Name and form. Same thing. Not substantial, doesn't exist independently. particular consciousness. The particular consciousness. Same. So, like that. Then there is a smell of a flower. Smell consciousness. Look at that. Smell consciousness. First, I said flower consciousness is color, form. That is through eyes. Then through nose, smell consciousness. Then through ears. Suppose, through touch, let's say, first. Because there is sound of flower and it doesn't look good. Touch. Soft touch, etc. Touch consciousness, soft touch consciousness, not touch consciousness, soft touch. Oh, I'm conscious. It is a very soft. Over. There's soft consciousness, soft touch consciousness. And well, something you can say sound, let's say, for sake of saying. Yeah. If you do like this flower, they do. They do. Especially the lotus, etc. They do, right? Lotus, etc. Sometime to spring, make it free from water. They do like this. It has some sound. So flowers sound consciousness. How will you remove consciousness? How will you remove? There is flower sound, Swamiji. There is no consciousness. I am conscious of the sound of the flower. If you say there is no consciousness, there is sound. So all this knowledge in your head are particular consciousnesses. But they cannot exist independent of you. Therefore, name and form, they cannot exist independent. Name and form means either it is in form of a color, form, either in form of a sound. All name form means this. Form is always, don't think some kind of a shape or something. Sound is a form, which is objectified. And therefore, all. Now do this exercise. Hey, what are you saying, Swami? I am giving you the answer of that who asked this question. What is consciousness? I'm answering that. These are all particular consciousnesses: sound consciousness, name, color form consciousness, color shape consciousness, smell consciousness, rose smell consciousness, etc., etc., etc. Now I say do this exercise. Means close your eyes and see that. I don't want, but I'm just saying like that. Table. As I say table, and suppose you will see table in your name form. Then a chair you will see. Then microphone you will see. Then orange you see. Car you see immediately. Consciousness. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. Could you follow? Nothing happens. Why nothing happens? Because Swamiji, because it is not a meaningful word. Otherwise, meaning will occur, that form will occur in our head. When you say orange, word you uttered, immediately we saw orange. That's the meaning of it, which we saw. You objectified immediately. Some object you saw. As I say consciousness, you did not see any object, did not see any meaning. Therefore, consciousness is a meaningless word. My God, what is he saying? Since 1 week, morning, evening, he's just. Do you think consciousness is a meaningless word? No. No, it has a meaning. Then meaning should be some object. Like orange, table, car. It's not an object. If a word is not meaningless and the meaning is not an object, then it should be what? Subject. Consciousness is the subject which objectifies everything. When words are uttered, you are able to objectify it because you are a conscious being. If a consciousness is not a meaningless word, It should have a meaning. That meaning cannot be an object. If it a meaning is an object, you must have objectified it as I uttered the word consciousness, like orange and camera and car and everything. Therefore, the meaning of the word consciousness is the very subject which cannot be objectified, never available for objectification, and at the same time, because of which I was able to objectify in my mind all other words and its meaning. Would you follow? That's the thing. So, this is how we should understand. What is consciousness? Which is never available for objectification, but because of which I am able to objectify that I is a consciousness. This is not able to objectify. I utter a word, you objectified. You saw the meaning of the word, the connection. This is not able to do. It also it also hears Swamiji. ये क्या बात है? Hiranyagarbha is present in the sense organs. Hiranyagarbha is present as a very ahankara here, as the very subject. And present also identify with the sense organs, make them conscious. And because of that, the sound is heard. Therefore, the best way is to say hearing of sound takes place in presence of Hiranyagarbha to save yourself from calling as an individual. Yeah. Hearing takes place in presence of I, Hiranyagarbha, which is none other than Brahman consciousness, also you can say. Seeing takes place. Because I am seer, there again sense of individuality comes. Forget about it. Seeing takes place in presence of I, Hiranyagarbha, which is Brahman. Like that. So therefore, basically Hiranyagarbha eats, experiences all the Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasgandha. Therefore, Hiranyagarbha is a Aditi. And Hiranyagarbha is sitting in the form of sense organs, in the form of Adhishtan Devata also. Oh my God. So Sarva Devata Mayi. Sarva Devatatmika, Bhashyakara says, which is in the form of Atmika. Atma or means Swarupa, which is in the form of Sarva Devata Swarupini, you can say. Sarva Devata Swarupini. Atmika. Then, well, so he who consists of all the Adhishtan Devatas put together, Ya Sarva Devata Mayi, Sarva Devata Atmika, and also Pranena is in the form of Prana, Samashti Prana. Pranena means Prana Rupena Ithambute. So he's in the form of the Pranas as Hiranyagarbha. And Bhashyakara himself explained Hiranyagarbha Rupena. And then what? Parasmad Brahmanaha Sambhavati is born from this Brahman, is born from this Brahman. So you can take like this Brahman along with knowledge, Ishvara, right? So as a Ishvara, Saguna you can take naturally with all knowledge is an attribute here. Knowledge which is non-separate from Brahma, along with the knowledge only is born as a Hiranyagarbha. Therefore, Hiranyagarbha, even though he is Brahman, but we take it as as a Hiranyagarbha is Sagunam Brahma, because from his knowledge only, or from his all three gunas, you can say, same thing. From three gunas only, entire subtle prapancha came. This is how technically they called gunas. Could you follow? Technically. Or you can say endowed with the power. Ichha, Kriya, Jnanam. Therefore, Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti Swarupini. Aditi. Could you follow now? Sagunam Brahma. Sagunam Brahma, Ishvara, Hiranyagriva. So, Parasmat Brahmanaha Sambhavati, this Aditi, Hiranyagriva is born with the Maya, Trigunatmika Maya, well, with his knowledge, with her knowledge, Brahman along with the knowledge, Nirgunam Brahma along with the knowledge becomes as to Saguna, and now from that, this everything is born. Entire subtle prapancha is born. So here, finally, along with knowledge also, the knowledge being mithya, it's the truth is only Nirgunam Brahma only. But I don't like to say Nirgunam Sagunam much, but you can take it that way. When you say Brahman along with his knowledge, tapas, tapasaha Brahmanaha, Brahman along with knowledge has, from that the Hiranyagarbha is born. So, then why you take a Brahman which is Nirgunam, why you add now all? No? So that is Guna. That's a guna, attribute of Brahman. So along with that, which is look at that, Sarvagnyam Brahma. Okay? Over. So that Jnan, Sarvagnyatvam is a guna for the Brahman. That way Sagunam Brahma you can take. Either way. But don't worry about this is too much in Gujarat. Sagunam, Nirgunam, Sagunam, Nirgunam, as if there are two types of Brahman. Do you worship Sagunam? I am a worship of the Nirgunam. I don't like this. What is there I don't like. I like only Nirgunam. I just don't like all this worship. I hate this. Somebody told me like that. I hate this. Look at that. That is you. That's you. With form and everything, with power, that Hiranyagarbha is you here. Whatever. Hmm. Anyway, the culmination is this. He and I are non-different. Identity. Ah, that you will be able to say with the grace of him. That say you can able to tell with the grace of him. Otherwise, you remain like this with the dissociation throughout life. I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not that. I'm not. Yeah, but what about that which you experience all the time throughout your life? And as you are experiencing, you are saying yourself as an experiencer jiva. What's the reality of that? Do you have you understood? No, 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 no. I'm no more Jiva. I'm this. I'm Chidananda. I'm Chidananda. I'm Chidananda. What will you do with this Jiva which you experience, which will never go away? Jivatvam never goes away. It becomes only mithya for you. In fact, you encompass it. Ah, Jiva is none other than Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha alone manifests as Ahankara. So you encompass. There is that is where the wholeness is. By dissociation, you can never gain wholeness. You have to account for it and you say you alone is the self of the content, the truth of everything, including that false. That's a wholeness. Yeah. Then you are free. Otherwise, you say you are dissociated from body and everything. But as the other person approaches you, you are not able to remove that duality. There is another you will not be able to remove. You may remove something, but that body is mithya. It's an object of me. What about the conscious being who is there? What about that? And you, conscious being there, you say, no, sorry, that conscious being is this conscious being. What about that body and this body, which you experience, which is not asat, shunyam? What to do that? Well, Hiranyagarbha, same Brahman, Hiranyagarbha, knowledge, his manifestation. Therefore, everything is me alone. Atma Pratyagatma is Brahman, which is in the form of Hiranyagarbha, because that's a Karanam for the entire Jagat, Sarvasya Karanam, and therefore Karyam is always non-separate from the Karanam. Oh my God. Therefore, it is my own manifestation of Brahman. Oh, I am that Brahman. Therefore, this all is me. Then there is a wholeness. Could you follow? There is wholeness. So you cannot, then there is no second thing. Once you say I'm whole, there cannot be whole plus one. Okay. Yeah. One without second. That's what the meaning of Dvaitam. Dvida itam iti Dvaitam. Dvida itam, Dvida praptam. Which is obtained in as second. Dvida itam praptam. Which is obtained as second. Advaitam, which has not become second. That is Advaitam. Advayam, Advaitam, same thing. Anyway, let's go here now. So, Parasmat Brahmanaha Sambhavati. And why do you call Aditihi Bhashakarasya Shabdadinam Adanat Aditihi? Well, Adanat, this Hiranyagarbha alone experiences through all the five sense organs, all the objects of the world. There are no many conscious beings. Each conscious being is different, different, different. No, 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 sir. That Brahman alone in the form of Hiranyagarbha has dived into all the Antakarana, creating all, in the form of all, right? Material cause also, in the form of all, obtained here as the very Adhisthana Devata, because sense organs are present, and they are functioning. So functionary and the functioning, both is him alone. And he experiences through the sense organs all the Shabda Sparsha Rupa Sakanta. Therefore, he's called Aditi. He means he is a Bhokta here. He alone is a Bhokta. Hiranyagarbha Parameshwara, he alone is a Bhokta. That Aditi, हाँ, so शब्दादिमा अदनात् अदिति ताम अदितिम पूर्ववत गुहाम प्रविश्य तिष्ठन्तीम अदितिम ताम अदितिम पूर्ववत गुहाम प्रविश्य तिष्ठन्तीम. That Aditi, that Hiranyagarbha alone has entered in the form of a Taijasa. No, Taijasa experiences. Oh, but he alone is in the form of Taijasa, and located in within the individual bodies. That is Purvavat. That is already explained because it was there before in the previous mantra. Let's read further. Tameva Vishinashti Ya Bhute Bihi Bhutaihi Samanvita Vyajayata Utpanna Ittetat Tam Tameva Vishinashti. Very same Tejasa, that Tam is actually Tam Aditim, which is in the form of this Tejasa. Well, Vishinashti. So, Shrutihi Vishinashti. Shrutihi Tam Vishinashti. Tam is object. Vishinashti means Shruti describes further. Vishinashti means tells more about it. Shruti describes further Tam, Aditi, means that about that Tejasa, that very same Tejasa, Upanishad describes further. As what? Ya Bhutehi Samanvida. That Aditi alone, that Hiranyagarbha alone, is Samanvita, that one who is along with Bhute Bihi, Bhutai Samanvita. That Aditi alone is, or that Tejasa alone is with this Bhutaihi, with the elements and elemental things, that is with the Karyakarana Sangata, same thing. With the Karyakarana Sangata, it obtains here. Oh, we want to see Hiranyagarbha. It is obtaining here with the sense organs. Sense organs also manifestation of his knowledge. And then, entire subtle prapancha is a manifestation of his knowledge. And therefore, with the Panchikarana, all the gross elements also is manifestation of his knowledge. So with the Karyakarana Sangata, it is along with the Karyakarana Sangata, yeah, he occupies this physical body. Hiranyagarbha alone or the Aditi alone occupies the physical body. So yeah, Bhutaihi Samanvita. Vyajayata. So this Tejasa is born. Utpanna, who is born, well, with Vyajayata, along with the sense organs and body, etc. Ittetat. So one who knows this Mumukshu, well, basically who knows this Tejasa, knows Brahman. Tejasa is Brahman. Yeah. One who is so knows this Tejasa as the very Brahman. Because Hiranyagarbha alone is in the form of Tejasa, is none other than Brahman, which iti etat. Oh, Nachiketa, you asked about that Atma, which remains after the death, etc., which survives the death, which is free from birth and death naturally. Which survives death means it doesn't have a death. If it doesn't have a death, means it doesn't have a time birth also. Means which is timeless, which doesn't undergo any change. That timeless Bal Atma is none other than this Brahman, who alone manifests in the form of Hiranyagarbha through the senses and everything, who obtains as the very Ahankara, as a Tejasa in every body, and who is called Aditi because he alone is experiencer, really speaking. Only you, unnecessarily out of ignorance of yourself, not knowing yourself as Brahman, you say, identifying with the one body, mind, sense complex, you say, I am a seer, hearer, etc., different, distinct from all other seers and all. Really speaking, you are Hiranyagarbha. You are that conscious being who is experiencing everything through different sense organs. They are also born of you. Antakarana is born of you. And they are functioning all this because you only are in the form of Adhishtan Devatas. And you are the consciousness behind that. You have jumped into that. And therefore, whatever is there in that being, and whatever is there here, whatever is there, is all manifestation of same Brahman. Ityetat. So, what you asked about, you old, oh Nachiketa, is you Brahman? You are that Brahman which is timeless. It doesn't undergo any change, no birth, no death. It survives death. Somebody, yeyam prete vichikitsa manushe. Astitye nayam astitye. Everyone has a doubt whether Atma survives this body or not, death of the body or not. It's timeless. Brahman, limitless. Timeless means there's no bondage of time. Limitless. What has no bondage of time doesn't have a bondage of place. What is time bound is space bound. This is modern physics. What is time bound is space bound, place bound. Is also having a form. What is time place bound has a form. What is time space bound has a form. Limited form, limited attributes. If it is timeless, formless, then free from all attributes, limitless in true sense, all pervasive. Too much. Stop it. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om